Lisa was a young woman who seemed to have it all. Her life looked like something out of a fairy tale. She had a charming, successful husband named Aaron, a beautiful home in a quiet neighborhood, and a circle of friends who admired her. To anyone looking in, Lisa's life appeared perfect. She was deeply in love with Aaron, and for the most part, they shared joyful moments together. They spent their weekends traveling, cooking together, and throwing dinner parties for friends. The world saw a beautiful couple with a flawless bond. Lisa couldn't imagine a life without Aaron. He was supportive, affectionate, and the man she thought she would spend forever with. But beneath the surface, there were cracks beginning to show. Lisa started to notice small things, the way Aaron's smile would disappear when she made a suggestion, or how he would get upset over the smallest of things. At first, Lisa brushed it off as stress from work or the pressures of everyday life. After all, no relationship is without its flaws. But slowly, Aaron's behavior began to change. He became more controlling, making subtle comments about how Lisa should dress, who she should talk to, and where she should spend her time. Lisa told herself it was just him caring too much, just his way of showing affection. She convinced herself that everything was fine. In her eyes, their life was perfect. She had the man she loved by her side and the picture-perfect home. But deep down, a quiet voice kept telling her something wasn't right. However, she ignored it. After all, who would ever believe that her perfect marriage was anything but? Things between Lisa and Aaron had always been smooth, but now, little by little, cracks started to appear. Aaron, once affectionate and understanding, became more distant. At first, it was just small things, little comments about how Lisa dressed or how she should act when they were out in public. "You should wear something more formal," he would say, or, "I think that's too revealing, don't you think?" These remarks, though subtle, began to chip away at Lisa's confidence. Then came the night when everything shifted. Lisa had planned to go out with a group of friends for dinner, something she had been looking forward to. When she told Aaron, his reaction was nothing short of explosive. "How can you think of going out when you're supposed to be at home, taking care of your responsibilities as my wife?" His voice was sharp, his face red with anger. Lisa stood there, stunned, not sure how to respond. She had never seen him like this before. He accused her of neglecting him, of being selfish, and not understanding her place in their marriage. Lisa tried to explain that it was just a night out with friends, but Aaron was having none of it. Feeling utterly bewildered, Lisa thought back to all the times she had trusted Aaron, all the love they shared. But now, doubt started creeping into her mind. Was she doing something wrong? Was this truly love, or was she missing something? She brushed off the uneasy feeling, telling herself it was just a bad day. As time passed, Aaron's controlling behavior grew more pronounced. It started with subtle remarks, suggestions that Lisa should spend more time at home and less with her friends. "I just want us to be together," he would say, his voice soft but persuasive. "People don't understand us the way we understand each other." His words made her feel like there was truth in what he was saying, that others simply couldn't appreciate their bond the way he could. Lisa began to feel guilty for wanting to see her friends or spend time with her family. She used to be independent, full of life, always surrounded by the people who loved her. But slowly, Aaron's influence chipped away at that. He convinced her that those closest to her didn't truly care, that they would never understand the love they shared. "They don't get it," he'd say, planting seeds of doubt. Over time, Lisa found herself withdrawing more and more. She stopped calling her friends, canceling plans with her family, and prioritizing Aaron's needs above her own. The vibrant, independent woman she once was began to fade, replaced by someone who didn't know where she ended and Aaron began. Her world revolved around him, yet he offered little emotional support in return. She felt alone, even when they were together. What started as simple requests for more time together soon became an emotional dependency, and Lisa found herself trapped in the very relationship she thought was perfect. The tension in the house reached a boiling point one evening after a particularly heated argument. Aaron, his face red with anger, told Lisa in no uncertain terms that she was no longer worthy of his love. "I don't need you anymore," he spat, his words cutting through her like ice. Without another word, He shoved her out the door, watching as she stood on the doorstep, unable to process what had just happened. The cold wind bit at her skin, but it was nothing compared to the chill that spread through her heart. Standing alone on the street, Lisa felt like her world had crumbled. She had never imagined this could happen, had never expected Aaron, the man she thought loved her, to turn so cold. The night air felt suffocating as the reality of what had just occurred hit her. How did it get this bad? She thought, fighting back tears. She questioned everything she had believed about their relationship. Was it all a lie? Had she been blind to the truth? Just as she stood there, lost in confusion, a familiar voice called out her name. Sarah, her old friend, had seen her on the street. Without hesitation, Sarah rushed to her side, offering comfort and support. Seeing the state Lisa was in, Sarah didn't hesitate to take her to the hospital, concerned for her physical and emotional well-being after the altercation. As Lisa sat in the sterile hospital room, the reality of her situation began to sink in. For the first time, she realized just how deeply she had been manipulated by Aaron. The truth was impossible to ignore now. As the days passed, Sarah remained by Lisa's side, offering unwavering support and compassion. Sarah, a friend who had known Lisa for years, quickly became her emotional anchor. Lisa poured out her heart to Sarah, sharing the details of her toxic marriage with Aaron, the controlling behavior, the belittling comments, and the emotional manipulation. Sarah listened intently, never judging, simply offering a shoulder to lean on. Her calm presence helped Lisa sift through the chaos in her mind. One afternoon, after hearing about Lisa's ordeal in more detail, Sarah arranged for a meeting with a lawyer. "You need to understand your rights, Lisa," Sarah insisted. "You don't have to go through this alone. I'm here and we'll fight this together." The idea of speaking to a lawyer was overwhelming at first, but Sarah's encouragement gave Lisa the strength to take the next step. She realized that there was a way out of this nightmare and that she wasn't trapped, as she had once thought. As they met with the lawyer, Lisa began to feel a shift within herself. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of control. She could see the possibility of a future beyond Aaron and the abusive relationship she had endured. Still, the emotional scars ran deep, and though Lisa's heart ached from the betrayal, Sarah's presence reminded her of her worth. With Sarah's help, Lisa began to plan her escape. It wasn't going to be easy, but the truth was clear now. She deserved better than the toxic love Aaron had given her. Sarah's social media presence had always been influential, but it was now becoming a powerful tool for justice. After hearing about Lisa's traumatic experience, Sarah knew that exposing Aaron's behavior was necessary, not just for Lisa's sake, but to warn others. She shared a post detailing the abusive incident and, with permission from a follower who had witnessed the confrontation, she uploaded a video showing the moment Aaron kicked Lisa out of their home. The video was raw and unfiltered, capturing the raw emotions and the chilling reality of the situation. Within hours, the video went viral. People across social media platforms began sharing it, and the public's outrage was overwhelming. Comments flooded in, expressing shock and anger at Aaron's actions. Lisa's phone buzzed nonstop with notifications, messages of support from strangers, and even words of solidarity from people who had gone through similar experiences. Despite the kindness and encouragement, Lisa felt a wave of nausea as she realized the full scale of what was happening. The video had sparked something bigger than she anticipated. Aaron's once pristine reputation began to crumble as more individuals came forward, sharing their own stories of mistreatment or witnessing his abusive behavior. His colleagues, friends, and even acquaintances started distancing themselves from him, unable to ignore the truth any longer. While Lisa was horrified by the sudden attention, she couldn't help but feel a sense of justice. For the first time, she saw the public hold Aaron accountable for his actions. Though overwhelmed, she realized that this moment was the first step toward reclaiming her life. Aaron's response to the public backlash was predictably defensive. In a series of statements, he tried to justify his actions, claiming that he had been under immense stress and that Lisa had overreacted. He painted himself as the victim, trying to manipulate the narrative and gain sympathy. However, the public was having none of it. Social media users quickly tore apart his arguments, exposing the contradictions in his claims. People were not easily swayed, and Aaron's attempt to shift the blame only made things worse. The more he defended himself, the more his reputation crumbled. Meanwhile, Lisa began to feel the weight of her decision to leave him. It wasn't just Aaron's wrath that she had to contend with, it was the ripple effect of his actions. Her family and friends, many of whom had known Aaron for years, started distancing themselves from him. They expressed their disappointment, but the pressure to forgive him and move forward lingered. Even her in-laws, who had always been distant and critical of her, began accusing Lisa of tarnishing their son's name. They blamed her for making him look bad in front of the public. Their words stung, but rather than making Lisa doubt her decision, it fueled her determination. She realized that if she didn't take a stand now, she would never be free. Despite the mounting pressure from Aaron's family, she made the decision to pursue legal action. She was done letting him control her life, and for the first time in a long while, Lisa felt a spark of hope. The journey to freedom had officially begun. The divorce process was a difficult and emotionally draining journey for Lisa, but she was no longer the woman she had been when she first married Aaron. Her lawyer, who had been a steady support through the ordeal, guided her through each step. She was finally taking control of her life, but Aaron was relentless in his attempts to manipulate her. He reached out, claiming that if she didn't agree to a quick and easy settlement, he would make her life miserable. He tried every tactic in the book, promising her money, offering to give her a generous deal, and even threatening to take their child away from her. "If you fight me on this, I'll make sure you never see your child again," he told her, his words laced with menace. Aaron believed that fear and manipulation would break her resolve, but what he didn't understand was that Lisa was no longer afraid of him. Sarah's unwavering support gave Lisa the strength she needed to stand her ground. No longer blinded by love, she saw Aaron for who he truly was: selfish, controlling, and toxic. She refused to let him dictate her future any longer, especially when it came to her child. With a firm heart and clear mind, Lisa decided to move forward with the divorce. The process was tense and full of obstacles, but she remained focused on what truly mattered: her child's future and her own healing. The legal proceedings became increasingly difficult as Aaron tried to avoid responsibility, but Lisa's determination never wavered. She was finally fighting for herself and her child, and there was no going back. After weeks of silence, Aaron made one final attempt to reclaim control over Lisa. He called her late one evening, his voice soft and pleading. "Lisa, I've been thinking a lot. I know I've messed up, but I swear I'll change. I'm sorry for everything. Come back to me, please. We can fix this." For a moment, Lisa felt the old familiar pang of doubt. The man who once promised her the world was now asking for forgiveness, trying to paint himself as the victim. But as his words continued, Lisa saw through the act. Aaron wasn't sorry, he was just desperate to keep her under his thumb. He guilt-tripped her relentlessly, claiming that everything that had gone wrong in their marriage was somehow her fault. "You pushed me to this point, Lisa. You made me act this way," he said, hoping to manipulate her into believing it was all her fault. But Lisa was no longer the woman who had fallen for his charm. The woman who had once believed in his empty promises had been replaced by someone stronger, someone who understood her worth. She stood firm, refusing to let him pull her back into the toxic cycle. "I'm not coming back, Aaron," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "I've finally learned that I deserve better than this." With the divorce now finalized, Aaron's true nature had been exposed for all to see. And Lisa, she was finally free, ready to move on with her life, unburdened by the chains of her past. After the divorce, Lisa begins the long but empowering process of rebuilding her life. With Sarah's unwavering support, she takes the first steps towards independence. Sarah helps her find a new job, one that challenges and fulfills her. Slowly but surely, Lisa starts to take control of her future, carving out a path that's entirely her own. Lisa also makes the effort to reconnect with old friends, people she had lost touch with during her marriage. They welcome her back with open arms, and Lisa realizes just how much she missed their genuine support. Along with old friendships, she begins forming new ones, surrounded by people who uplift her instead of keeping her in the shadows. The healing process, though slow, starts to show its rewards. Lisa feels a new sense of freedom, one she hasn't known in years. The woman who once felt trapped by her marriage is now free to live life on her own terms. She takes each day as it comes, but with every step she becomes stronger. Her confidence grows, and she learns to trust herself again. Most importantly, Lisa now feels empowered to protect her child. Every decision she makes is driven by a desire to build a better, safer future for both of them. The past, with all its hurt and manipulation, no longer defines her. She's not a victim anymore. She is a survivor, and her new life is just beginning. Just as Lisa is beginning to find peace, an unexpected turn of events shakes things up. She learns that Aaron's life has taken a dramatic downfall. His once successful business crumbles under the weight of the public backlash, and he loses his job. The man who once prided himself on his career is now forced to return to his parents' home, with nothing but his shattered reputation left. As the rumors about his abusive behavior spread, they reach his parents' community, and the social consequences of his actions are felt by everyone involved. The once proud man, who had held himself above others, is now struggling to make ends meet. His arrogance and disregard for others have come back to haunt him, and the world that once catered to his needs now seems to be crumbling around him. Lisa, hearing these developments, feels a strange sense of satisfaction. She has endured so much, but now, it seems, Aaron is paying the price for his choices. The same man who tried to control her, belittle her, and destroy her sense of self is now facing the consequences of his own actions. Lisa can't help but feel a bittersweet satisfaction, knowing that justice, in its own way, has caught up with him. However, her focus remains on her own journey. While she takes comfort in knowing that Aaron's life has unraveled, she knows that her own life is moving in a much more positive direction. Her strength has led her here, and she's determined to keep moving forward. With her life back on track, Lisa feels a sense of peace and renewal she hasn't experienced in years. To express their gratitude for Sarah's unwavering support, Lisa and her family visit Sarah's home. When they arrive, Sarah and her husband are overjoyed to meet Lisa's child, and the two families quickly form a strong bond. It's a beautiful moment of healing as Lisa realizes just how far she's come. As the visit continues, Lisa's newfound confidence shines through. She's no longer the woman trapped in a toxic relationship, unsure of her own worth. She is strong, self-assured, and ready to embrace the future with open arms. The weight of her past marriage no longer looms over her. It's behind her, where it belongs. Despite all the hardships she endured, Lisa knows deep in her heart that she made the right choice. The divorce, the heartache, and the pain were all necessary steps on her path to freedom. She has learned more about herself than she ever thought possible, and in the process, she has built a better life for her child and herself. Life, once filled with uncertainty and fear, is now full of possibilities. Lisa is ready to embrace them all. With a heart full of hope, she steps into her new future, free at last. Lisa's journey is proof that you can break free from toxic relationships and rebuild your life. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't wait. Reach out for support. You deserve love, respect, and happiness. Take control of your future today. Share this story, subscribe for more inspiration, and remember, your best days are ahead.